Hello everyone, I have got Nik Dhimal in the room. He's a successful property entrepreneur. He is good at what he does. But he started from nothing. He was actually in the army in Afghanistan and he has come a long way. So I've asked him to join us on this discussion to see what lessons we can learn off him and how we can improve. So Nick, thank you so much for joining us here
Thank you
today.
very much for having.
Wonderful.
I really appreciate that.
So your journey has been quite inspirational. So what really inspired you to get into this property industry in the first place?
That's a really good question. I would say when I was in Afghanistan, right, I knew I wanted to do something else. As I was in the army, so I had a lot of time in Afghanistan because you don't have to go outside every time in the field. So what I did is I bought a few books. I started reading a few books, started watching YouTube videos, and read a few personal development books where I found about the property, real estate, asset liabilities, things like that. And from there, I was like, this is simple, but not easy, but it's really simple to understand how it works, right? And all the wealthy people, they're doing it. I mean, there's something reason in it. And yeah, from there, I started, when I came back in UK, I went to seminars like that and started connecting with people. And that's how I got started.
Right. So you said you were reading books in
Yeah.
Nepal. A lot of people do not read books, and they don't find themselves in that habit of reading books since childhood. So did you always have that habit of reading books?
I would say because I used to follow right people in social media and YouTube, and what they used to say is read books. Most of successful people they are reading books, and there's a reason. That's a clue for them to for you to read books. I was like, I don't have to read all book. I can start with one page per day.
Yeah.
That builds momentum,
Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got started actually.
It's very interesting that you can read a book,
Yeah.
200 pages in a week or maybe 2 weeks. But that person who wrote that book, he's compressed that 20, 30 years of experience
Yeah.
and lessons that he has learned that you can learn in just a week or 2 weeks.
Exactly, 100%. And the thing is, it doesn't cost much, right?
Yeah.
And the person who wrote that book has a lifetime lesson, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years lesson in that book, and you can learn just simply reading the book.
Yeah.
And there's quite difference. You might have a different way of reading book. The way I read book is when I open the book, I try to find three lessons. I don't want to read everything because I want to remember.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just trying to find at least three lessons. At the end of the book, I want to make sure I learn three lessons from that book, which I can implement in my life.
Yeah.
So
So,
that-
so you read books, you got into property, then you came to the UK, you found seminars that led you into the property industry. So now you're full on into property, you buy rundown properties, you add value, and then you refinance them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I do meet a lot of people who tell me we want to do that, but we struggle to find those kind of deals. So how do you source them? Where do you find these deals?
How do I source? At the moment, yes, I do deal sourcing as well. The difference is I don't deal source, especially BRR. There's only a few handful of people I source BRR, but maximum is buy to let. Especially my community, I'm just trying to help as much as my community because there's no one, literally no one, who's doing what I'm doing. Especially coming out in social media, sharing my experience, failure I did, lesson I learned, and how much I paid for all this thing. And there's no one, and because of that, people are getting the message I'm trying to send, to spread, and they're contacting me to help them buy the buy to let house, and which is really really easy for me because I have the right network, right education, and that's how I'm sourcing my buy to let deal.
Yeah.
Right. For me, the way I find deal for myself with BRR is just back and forth, like the back and forth negotiation with the landlord, and yeah, just like that.
So you source properties, buy to let properties. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that for the buy to let properties?
So there's a link in all my social media bio where they can click a link. There's all my contact details, WhatsApp and everything.
Yeah.
That's how people contact me. There's my email address as well.
Okay.
You can send me email over there, and I can go from there.
Okay. Well, Nick's links will be in the description below, so do make sure to follow him. So right now there is all this uncertainty in the market,
Yeah.
right? We were just having a chat about the interest rates. They're astronomically high, and a lot of lenders also don't want to give fixed rates. So what do you think about it? Is now a good time to buy properties?
I would say, as most entrepreneurs says, when there's inflation or when there's a market being scared, that's the best time to invest. And there's a reason actually. It might be different from your point of view. From my point of view, to be honest, no one knows about the future. But in the current situation, there's a high demand of property in the market, and there's a lot of buyer who are scared or don't have the right education, and they are pulling out of the market. Because of that, there's a shortage of buyer and high demand of property in the market. which gives as investor for me to negotiate with the landlord, right? Because landlords are desperate now
Yeah.
because their interest rate going over the roof.
Yeah.
They have two options: either to pay their mortgage or have a food in table,
It's true.
right? Because of that, landlords want to sell the property as soon as possible.
And so talking to you, I understand you work with investors. Yeah. So why, if there's someone watching this video and he's got 100 or 200,000 pounds liquid cash,
Yeah.
why should he get in touch with you? How can you help him?
So the way I work with investors, it depends on what exactly they want, right? Because I want to make sure that we agree in a both win-win situation. So most of the investors, they want normal interest on the investment. What I offer is I offer 1 year or 2 year interest on the investment. Let's say, for example, investor wants to invest 100K for a year. I offer them 9.1. It depends on the market, 8.5 like that. I've done a few 8.5 recently. So yeah, 8.5 on their invest amount for a year. So after a year, they get the full amount back and interest on top of that, which makes investors happy because they have something other plans with the money.
Absolutely, it's net yield. It's profit. There's no work to do at all.
Exactly, and that money is sitting in the bank, losing its value, right? Because they have no plans to do anything for a year or 2 years, and if they invest, they are making few money,
Yeah.
£2,000 from the money, and they can, yeah, there you go. They are you are instead of losing value, you are making money from investing with me. Yeah, and there's a few things I would do with my investor. I have everything legal. I don't do virtual because there's nothing what you call secure in virtual, right? So I have everything on legal paperwork, which makes investor safe and makes me safe.
Right. So they're secure. They even know if, God forbid, something happens to them,
Yeah.
their children are protected
Yeah, exactly.
with the money they've invested with you.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right. Also, with the money in the bank, with inflation now at 10.1%, the money is just devaluing and shrinking anyway.
100%, yeah.
So they have to get it to work for the money to produce children and grandchildren. So if they're looking at this and it sounds like a good proposal, they obviously want to know where their money is going.
Yeah.
Because if it's risky, they want to back out, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, they understand property. Essentially, the money is in the bricks and mortar, so it's still safe. The land value is there. But what kind of properties do you look at?
The properties I look at the moment is family houses, or at the moment I'm interested in flats. I was negotiating with the council. There's a block of property here, right? And the council wants to sell everything at once. There's a really good space as well, so I'm negotiating on that one. And if I can manage the house, I think they are selling for 375, something like that, and I offer 336 cash offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe if I can sell individual, there's a 4 units. If I can sell individual, if I can sell, like, for example, 110, 120 like that, I can make 100 grand profit from that, just
Right away.
buying that. Yeah.
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 Split the titles and sell them off right away.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But why flats?
Again, that's an interesting topic because we both are interested in flats.
Yeah.
Flats because you have more tenants, more income.
Yeah.
The property, you have one tenant. If anything happens to the tenant, there's a minus in the income. But if you have flats, if one goes, there's another flats that give you cash flow.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just like a HMO, but in a bigger version.
Yeah, it's true. Because, see, with HMOs and flats,
Yeah.
your source of income is not dependent on one person.
Exactly.
There's 7-8 people.
Yeah.
One person doesn't pay, no problem. You still got the other 6 or 7 that'll pay you. You'll meet your mortgage payments. Lender's happy, you're happy. You just have to chase the rent. You also buy rundown properties, isn't it?
Yes, I
You
do.
refurb.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest concern everyone faces is contractors. So how do you manage your contractors?
Even I struggle because there are contractors at the moment I'm dealing whom I paid advance 10%, 15%, and they ran away. One ran away, another said overdose, something issue like that. So it's contract. There's a, I cannot say there's a fixed way to deal with contractors. It just depends on the how you do your duties and contractors. Best thing is do a contract, right, and break down the payment in stages. Let's say, for example, electrician, if first fix is done, I'll pay the 50%. If second fix is done, I'll pay the remaining one. After checking the work has been done. That's how I pay.
So what due diligence do you do on the contractor before you hand them the contract?
I would say I'll check the reviews, right, and I'll go to their previous job to see that if they are happy to show me their previous work, then that's a green flag. Right?
Yeah.
If they are not, that's a red flag.
Yeah. So do you get a property manager, like a manager who manages the project, or do you manage all these contractors yourself?
I manage all contracts by myself. Yeah.
So do they communicate with themselves, saying, okay, plastering is done, the joinery needs to kick in now? Are you the one managing it, letting that guy know when he needs to kick
Yeah.
in?
Yes, that's how I do it. At the moment, that's how I'm doing in one project. On other project, I have a contractor who does all the job for me, which is easy.
Yeah. And where do you find these contractors in the first place?
I would say in a group chat, property
Okay.
investor group chat. Just
Recommendations, they help a lot,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, that's a really good one to find really good contractors. And other is just my builders, check my trades, like the website like that.
Yeah, I found mybuilder.com to be quite a good one because you can find people dropping reviews there as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So you find a couple of guys there, you let them go give you quotations first. Do you get quotations before you buy the property?
No, I get the quotation after I buy the property.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you anticipate the value then? What if your refurb cost is going to be more than what you thought it would be?
So what I do is before I buy the property, I'll go through all my due diligence. Yes, I'll work on the renovation because now I know how much it takes to
Yeah,
do the renovation,
absolutely.
right? In case if there's anything behind the wall, then that's a different case, right? But what I can see from that now, I know how much it can cost. For example, let's say wiring, 3,500, right? Plumbing, boiler, everything, 7 grand, depends.
Yeah. So you know exactly if I want to paint this room, how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
You know it now.
Exactly, 150.
Yeah. But when you first started,
Yeah.
on your first two projects, would you go in with the builders first before you bought it?
No, actually, I didn't went to the builder. First one was quite interesting. The agent who viewed with whom I went for the viewing said they have the company. Later, I found out that she was just a middle person.
Oh.
So yeah, getting tradesmen, individual tradesmen, giving the job, charging me money, taking commission. So
So they were keeping a margin on top.
yes.
With all this, so we're going to go into personal development, yeah? For properties all done. So how important do you find personal development for a person to succeed in business or in real estate?
Personal development is one of the key. I think that's the best investment you can ever make in investing in yourself. That can be anything, maybe a course, right? Having a mentor. That's really key to move forward.
Yeah. So what could personal development look like? Is that reading books, seminars?
It can be anything as long as you're getting value in your life. And it's not just getting the value, what you implement. Because you can learn all the knowledge you have, but if you don't implement, you're going to learn nothing.
Yeah.
And you're going to achieve nothing.
Yeah.
So it can be anything like watching a good content from entrepreneurs or anything that gives you value.
How do you grow yourself?
I have a mentor, right? And I try to go in as much networking even as possible so that I can learn different people point of view and different lessons they have learned and books and YouTube.
Yeah. I think that really helps me as well. Like finding people who are specialists in their sectors. Like Gary Vee is good with marketing, building a brand. But Grant Cardone, the real estate guy, you got Dan Locke, he's a good salesperson as well. So find what they do, what they're special in, learn what they do, and that's it. You can improve yourself as well.
Exactly.
Because when I was starting up, I read this book, very interesting book, which says find a person that you find as your role model who does really well. See what skills they have and reverse engineer that. So Grant Cardone, I like. He's a good salesperson. He's a good public speaker. He knows everything about real estate. Strong businessman, family person. So just learn what he does, learn what he knows, and you can be like Grant Cardone.
Exactly.
So I think that's the idea of personal development.
Yeah, exactly. And whatever you have done, you don't have to implement everything you have learned from him. Just one or two.
Yeah.
Just try to pick one or two at least, so that you know what to focus on. If you learn 10 lessons, which one you're going to implement? And there's zero chance you're going to remember all.
Yeah.
And you'll be confused and you'll forget everything.
True. So you've got different mentors then. So you learn, let's say, marketing from Gary Vee.
Yeah.
And then sales from Dan Locke. So you find 3 things from each mentor then. Is that what you try to do?
Yeah, that's what I do. I try to find what my role model is good at, right? It's, let's say, for example, dress up, attitude, the way they speak, everything. I just pick up the good thing from them and I try to implement in my life.
Yeah. Okay. What does Nick's routine look like? What kind of habits do you find yourself in now that perhaps before you started the business, it wasn't there?
My habit, it's been very similar, even if I didn't start a business, especially with what time I wake up, because I've been in hostel since child. So I have that habit of waking up early in the morning. I wake up at 5, take my dog for a walk, then have a tea, coffee, or breakfast, then go for a gym or an hour workout, then go to office, and let's see what I have for the day. Then once I finish my work, there's no certain time that I'll be at home until, because it's not a job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Maybe if I finish at 5, I'll go 5, 7, 8, depends on what time I finish. Then once I'm home, if I haven't worked out in the morning, I'll work out in the evening, and then it's time with family.
You also mentioned you have the blessings to work with your wife, because not a lot of people are able to get their spouse on the same vision.
Yeah.
And they have that work life which is quite separate. Work is separate, their personal life which is separate. It's not interconnected. So you mentioned having these two together is quite a blessing. What do you think about that?
It's a really good blessing. Plus, it builds a relation between you and your partner, because work-life balance and everything, the work for a person who have a job,
Yeah,
it works for them because they have a time. That time they will be at home, they can spend the time with the family. Then this time they have to be at work. But with business, the lesson I learned from rent to rent, because I was the only person doing everything, and what I've learned and realized is my wife, she had no idea what I'm doing, and she felt like I'm not giving the time to her.
yeah,
Which is not fair, right?
of course.
And since I started this business, I thought like my wife needs to be on the table as well with me, because
Yeah.
there will be time where I won't be able to recognize the mistakes I'm about to make, and she can point that out.
Yeah,
And that's what reason every course I do, I take her with me.
yeah.
So
That's
she,
so important.
yeah, now she does 50% of the job, which makes my life easy, so
Yeah.
that I can focus on the other job that I need to be focusing on, and I'm good at.
Mm.
So that builds a good momentum, because I'm not good at organizing things. And if I focus on that, I'm gonna miss out the things that I'm good at.
True.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a really, really good one to have a business partner, and at the home, your wife. So because there's a few things that she will recognize all the mistakes, right? And there's a few things that she will help you with everything. And even like if you're not feeling well, your wife can do the job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the thing that helps me the most is that if we're at home, I'm thinking work, thinking, why didn't that deal close? Why is this not happening? How can I improve this? How can I improve that? But if someone doesn't understand the vision,
Yeah.
then it doesn't work. There's a
Yeah.
conflict. But if I understand the vision, she understands the vision and has the same vision, then all the work that's happening in the process makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not about a 35-hour work week. It's not an 84-hour work. It's life.
Yeah.
It comes together.
Exactly.
So I think for those who can get their spouses on the same page and work together, it's definitely a blessing and a very key ingredient to success, I feel.
Exactly, 100%. And if there's anything, celebrate with your partner.
Yeah.
Right, again, builds relationship. Like I said, you need to add your life and work together.
Yeah.
Like this one, if we achieve something, take out for a dinner.
Yeah.
Right, have some time as a celebration.
Yeah.
That just builds a relation.
Yeah. So, Nick, what's the one final piece of advice you could give to someone out there who perhaps wants to become an entrepreneur or is looking to get into the real estate journey? What's that one piece of advice you can share?
The one piece of advice I would give is build a very powerful network, right? Don't take advice from wrong people. For example, your parents love you, your brothers love you, doesn't mean they are qualified to give you advice if they haven't done the things they are giving advice on. If you have good connection of good people who have done whatever they're mentioning or talking about in day-to-day life, that will give you a lot of knowledge. You can learn so many things, the mistake they have made in their life, and you can implement that, avoid that mistake, you can move forward faster than anything.
Yeah. I also like that example of Andrew Tate you shared with me earlier.
You want me to say that?
Please do.
So I'll give you an example of powerful network I learned from Andrew Tate. So what he said is, let's say you are in a room of 10 people, right? 9 of them are owner of ice cream factory. And they talk about how to produce ice cream, how to store it, how to advertise it, which flavor is really working in the market. And let's say if they're talking about all different things about ice cream factory, you are there, you have no business, right? If you want to start ice cream business, you know everything about that, right? And if you make any mistake or if you need any help, it's a group that can give you advice because they've already done it, and that will push your success so much faster than anything else. And that's a real, good example of powerful network, right? Because even though you haven't done it, now you have the knowledge.
Yeah. You do become an average of the people you surround yourself with.
100%, 100%.
Right. Guys, so I hope you found that helpful. Nick's information will be in the description below. Do make sure to give him a follow on Instagram, YouTube, and all the other platforms. If you have enjoyed this content, please smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. And I will see you in the next video.